Wildfire season has started early in parts of Western Canada. They're burning in parts of British Columbia, Alberta, and Manitoba, but the situation across much of Western Canada has started to improve over the past couple of days, thanks in part to some rain and some better weather conditions. Some evacuees in Alberta and Manitoba are going to be able to return home, but many others are not quite so fortunate. Heather Murray was evacuated from Cranberry Portage in Manitoba and faced real challenges finding care for her son, who has special needs. I spoke with her just this morning. Heather Murray, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit what it was like to have to evacuate from your home in terms of the challenges for you in particular.
It was very stressful, challenging. My son has special needs, all one-on-one. And his wheelchair got sent back to Dauphin for repairs last Tuesday, last week. So he only had his medical bed and his lift and a little bit of a chair he could sit in for a bit. So when the evacuation came, well, actually I had training that Thursday in Flin Flon, which is 47 kilometers away from Cranberry. And coming out of training that evening, I saw the smoke coming up. It was just a little bit of a fire. Probably could have been put out. Friday night, I had to go back in for work. I had to do cedar baths. We finished our rounds about 9, closed up, and I headed home, and that fire was about 10 times larger.
Yikes.
And I got feeling, said, go home, get stuff put away from your work. Get stuff, we start getting ready, right? So Saturday morning came, and you could see the smoke from town already. And by every hour we were watching it, it was getting closer. Seemed like the smoke would blow away, and then it would come back and blow away, come back in, and it was getting larger, and you could see the orange coming through the clouds. I said, you know what, get our stuff ready. We had gear by the door. We should have had it in the vehicle, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess for me, didn't want to believe it was going to be an evacuation, that it would come that close.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, should we, shouldn't we? Then the siren went off. So without a wheelchair, we loaded up the gear into the back, and then I pulled up my vehicle to the front of the house instead of using the ramp, because it would have been just more work for us. Mm-hmm. Laid a blanket down, me and my daughter, and laid him down from the bed onto the blanket, and we grabbed each end and carried him out to the vehicle, got him in, buckled him up safely, and booked it. When we left town, you could see the flames coming up. There were emergency vehicles coming in, and a whole bunch of us coming out. So when we got to the paw, there was a relief to get there, but then you get to the Wascana where Red Cross was, and there's a sign already there. You have to pay for your accommodations, whatever you end up with. So to verify, we go in and register, and well, you got to find you got to pay for your hotel room.
Oh, geez.
Luckily, I had my mom.
Yeah.
I had my mom who had a visa. I got her to run to the hotels to get us a room, because it was a scramble. Everybody was racing to get a hotel room. Yeah. A lot of people didn't.
So tell me how frustrating that was, that there was no sort of like accommodation ready for you, and in particular for your kid who has these special needs.
It was a little bit frustrating, a little bit understandable for me, because it was the last second, but all day we knew I knew. I trap, I hunt, I fish, I know the land. A lot of people know the land better than, how can I put that, sitting in an office somewhere else.
Yeah,
we could see it coming.
Yeah,
It was one of the reasons why our community another community member fought for a fire tack to be put back into place to Cranberry. They took it out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We finally got it back, and thank goodness.
No kidding. And so, Heather, you do get to go home today, is that right? How are you feeling about that? And is your son going to go with you? I imagine yes.
I'm very nervous. I'm happy we're going home. The fire isn't out yet. It's just under control. It's going to be a very stressful summer for us.
Yeah.
But I'm relieved to go home, but there's work to be done. And I need a wheelchair for him. I need a proper bed for him. His medical bed that he has now, he gets his legs stuck in the rail compared to the bed he has here. He has plastic sides where he's safer.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make sure I'm ready for him to come home before I bring him home, that it'll be cleaned up.
Yeah.
We have things put back into place. It was a very hard decision I had to make, but I'm relieved because his care is of my most, important thing to me.
Sure.
And I couldn't care for him properly in this hotel. I didn't have a lift, a wheelchair, no help.
Heather, I hope you get home safely, and I hope you can get your son home safely when it makes sense. And I'm wishing you the best through what I think is going to be a challenging summer for a lot of people. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you very much, and have a good day.